Trading has closed on March 17th, 2022. Let's start with our disclaimer, go over yesterday's calls, and then make some predictions, including something important about the long-term forecast. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, the 18th. Remember, I can be completely wrong. All trades should be at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early low. This is it. Tomorrow has the early high. We had strong resistance at yesterday's high. We said if we're going to just continue going up, we really should gap over it, and it was a candidate for the end of the leg. But if we took this high out significantly, that idea was killed. Well, that idea was killed because we went over it, but there wasn't a gap over resistance, so this should pull back. Doesn't have to happen tomorrow, but it happens often. And this break doesn't really count unless you go over today's close by 1 penny, 1 cent. But nonetheless, it's pretty significant, and we'll go over that in just a minute. Now, I had to redo the video because I got messed up with my time zones. Had a MEJT target that was wrong. And that was just my mistake. As soon as I sent this off, I realized what I'd done, but that's a bit late. What I had before I redid the video was the fact that the MEJT target from the 4th of this month printed, and there was support and resistance around the number. But that's water under the bridge. So we said it's a candidate for the end of the leg. That idea failed. But if it's going to continue, we had the gap, and that didn't happen. So it should pull back. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. But there is a new target, 43.7469. So 95% chance this prints tomorrow. 95 isn't 100. If it doesn't print tomorrow, we forget it. But that's what the system says. Early on, we had an ultimate sell signal that worked. We had an optional higher target that also worked. It's not unusual for the system to say we print both higher and lower, just as it isn't unusual for the market to print both higher and lower. We got strong buy signals here in the afternoon, an ultimate buy that's panned out, a buy signal that's panned out. But there's an optional lower target, and there it is, 95% chance it prints tomorrow, 43.7469. Well, I promised you a review of the long-term picture, so let's do that. I haven't changed this count. We have B ending here, green B, and then ABC. A number of targets work for the end of wave green C. These were the targets we had based on green C being equal to green A, and depending on whether you measure from where green C started or from its height. Let's remember this 38, 34, 53 number. This was the count I had. We haven't changed anything up to here, but as far as these waves are concerned, it's getting harder and harder to count them this way. I always say it's not the only count, so let's look at the revised count. And we're just changing this last leg. Well, I'm now counting this as an ABC for A. I have this as an ABC, which hasn't finished yet for B. And if black C of red B equals black A, which is common, you get a high around 44.8201. So that's one reasonable target for the end of this leg. Doesn't mean it comes tomorrow, but we have a possible target at 4482.01. Now what if that happens? Well, this is the target we had, 38.34.53. And if we get a wave, red C, that hits this point, you'd like it to have some kind of Fibonacci relationship to wave red A, and you want as many Fib relationships as possible. So if this is an ABC, which ends here, and if this long-standing target works, and if that's red C, it's not perfect, but it's darn close to the wave balance here and here for wave A, and it would make a very pretty picture. Now, just because that works doesn't mean other counts won't. But for right now, we'll pencil this one in. We have wave and balance. If we go up to 44.82, drop to 38.34, and if that's true, wave green C is over, and then the big bull market starts again. Tomorrow's pattern has a really high that could gap down. Typically, it's a rally day with a final hour high. Failure is a straight line drop. There's an optional MEJT target, 43.74.69. 95% chance it prints tomorrow. If not, we'll forget it. For the intermediate term, there have been a number of positive developments, none of which change the long-term outlook that the gains will be given back at some time. Breadths improved dramatically. Sentiment indicators reach levels typically seen at market lows. We broke through major resistance, although without gapping over, they should be given back, and we still have to confirm that by trading at least 1 penny beyond today's close. And for the short term, it's somewhat positive. The low of day came in the first 5-minute bar, the high day in the last. I think it's spurious as the required gains came with a big surge in the last minute that promptly reversed. I'm not certain that's the real thing. For the longer term, we have the Fed whipsaw, the death cross, lack of signs of a permanent bottom, lower prices should print at some time. We have a penciled in target of this rally going to around 44.82, dropping to 38.34. As far as tomorrow's concerned, there's a 95% chance we see 43.74, and without the gap, these gains should be retraced. If not tomorrow, then at some other time. Tomorrow's pattern has the early high. It's a rally all day or else a straight line drop, and that's today's call.